I'm Maggie. I am 33 years old. I grew up with a mom and dad who were wonderful and amazing. I have one older sister. It was just the four of us growing up. I had a very happy childhood, nothing out of the norm. I would say I was around church. I wasn't in church, if that makes sense. My mom's mom passed away when I was in 8th grade, and it was very jarring for me as a young girl to see my mom, who was my rock, go through such a terrible, terrible time. It was a very sudden thing. None of us got to say goodbye to her. I felt lost, just searching for something that would fill that void that never came. I would say that feeling lasted for quite some time, late teens and early 20s. I would say in that time, that was for the first time that I was really living for myself, trying to, read astrology and collect crystals, and nothing was revealing any truth, any true comfort. And I started to get extreme anxiety and depression really for the first time, and I was on several different medications and just nothing was working. Like nothing was helping.
Was there like a moment when you realized, oh, I need to go back to church, or I need Jesus, or I want God?
I met my fiance and he had a daughter at the time. It kind of woke me up to a different life, something that I hadn't experienced before, and I wanted to be better. I tried my best to become a mom overnight, and then shortly after, my dad got sick. And my dad is who brought me to Jesus in the first place, the only one in my life who talked about Jesus, who taught me anything. So I clung on to that after we lost him. In July of 2020, we also lost my mom to cancer. So my mom and dad died 8 months apart, and I got very sick after both my parents passed away and lost, I was like 92 pounds at one point. I lost so much weight. I was so unhealthy. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. And this last year, I had one of the worst summers of my life, one of the worst years of my life, honestly, and I was at my complete and total breaking point. And I just had such the most empty feeling. I was angry, I was bitter with everyone. I had pushed everybody away that tried to help me. Got to a point where I shut my location off on my phone. My plan was to drive into an open field and to take my life. And I remember I was on the way there and I was crying so hard that I couldn't even see the road. I felt the only thing that I can describe is a motherly and fatherly hug just fill me from the top of my head to my toes. And I had never felt that before. I hadn't felt that kind of embrace since my parents were alive. What am I doing? What am I doing? Am I gonna leave my kids behind with the same feeling that I have? Or am I going to embrace whatever this is, this bit of hope that I was just given in my car, and go home and make a better life? So for the first time, I felt hope, and I went home and I told Bobby, I said, hey, everything's gonna be okay. So I started Googling churches around me and looked at Riverside and looked at the service times, and I just said, hey, Bobby, we're gonna go. The worship music started playing, and I felt that same head to toe warmth and embrace, and audibly, I hear in my ears, this is it. This is exactly why I brought you here. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. And 2 weeks later, we got baptized. So if I could go back and tell myself that last year, I wouldn't have wanted to hear it. But now, like if I were to have heard that and looking back and remembering that, it would click. And I would think, that's exactly what I needed to do, was to open my heart and be real and accept him and let him come in and completely change your life, because he will.